Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly sat still, not just physically, but mentally? No phone, no notifications, no agenda, just a moment of presence, not planning, not producing, just being. Hard to recall, right? Because somewhere along the way, we were told that stillness is laziness, that slowing down is weakness, that unless you're always building, always grinding, always hustling, you're falling behind. Modern life is a machine, fast, loud, demanding, and most of us are sprinting just to keep up. Wake up, check your phone, check your stats, respond to messages, schedule content, hit the gym, answer emails, grab a podcast, push, push, push. If you're not doing 1,000 things, you feel like you're doing nothing. But what if the speed is the problem? What if this relentless motion is the very thing pulling us away from ourselves? What if we're not falling behind in life? We're just moving in the wrong direction. This is where Stoicism steps in, not like a whisper, but like a hard stop, a mirror, a moment, a challenge. Because Stoic philosophy doesn't tell you to do nothing. It tells you to do only what matters. It doesn't say ambition is bad. It says ambition without wisdom is just ego in disguise. It doesn't tell you to abandon effort. It teaches you to align effort with meaning. It's not about choosing between hustle and laziness. It's about asking deeper questions. It's about holding your goals up to the light and asking, is this truly mine? Or am I just chasing it because the world told me to? We're going to talk about hustle culture, not to criticize hard work, but to examine the why behind it. We're going to talk about Stoicism, not as a historical curiosity, but as a modern survival tool for your mind, your peace, and your purpose. So if you've ever felt burnt out, but guilty for slowing down, if you've ever been productive, but still felt empty, if you've ever chased success, only to wonder why it didn't fulfill you, then you're exactly where you need to be. Let's slow down, just for a few minutes. Let's think, let's reflect, and let's ask a question that could shift everything. Are we chasing the right things? Chapter 2, The Hustle Narrative. Always be building. There's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot. If you're not building, you're falling behind. And for a while, it sounds like truth. It sounds like motivation, like something that will pull you out of bed and make you matter. But here's what no one tells you. That statement is built on fear, not purpose. We live in a time where doing more has become the default prescription for everything. Feeling lost? Build something. Feeling stuck? Start something. Feeling insecure? Scale something. No direction? Create a side hustle. No confidence? Post more? No peace? Must be because you're not working hard enough. Productivity has become a drug. And hustle culture? It's the dealer. We reward exhaustion. We glorify late nights. We wear burnout like a badge of honor. You'll hear it everywhere. Wake up at 5 a.m. or someone else will. If you're not working on your brand, you're working on someone else's. Sleep is for the weak. Grind now, rest later. But here's the question no one asks. Later for what? Later for who? When does it end? What's the finish line? Because what most people find, if they're honest, is that there is no finish line. Just more goals, more expectations, more boxes to check before you finally feel worthy. That's the trap. You start out working hard to create freedom and end up becoming a slave to the very thing you built. You begin to believe that your value is tied to your output, that your rest must be earned, that your life is only meaningful when it's producing something tangible for others to see. But the Stoics would challenge that entirely. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome. If anyone had an excuse to be consumed by doing, by ruling, by conquering, it was him. And yet, he constantly reminded himself, if you seek tranquility, do less. Not nothing, less, but do it better. Do it with intention. Do it with alignment. Because movement without meaning is just noise. The Stoics weren't afraid of hard work, but they feared wasted effort. They feared chasing approval, chasing status, chasing the image of success at the cost of the soul. So I'll ask you this. What are you currently building? And more importantly, why are you building it? Is it rooted in clarity? Or are you just afraid of standing still? Because in a world screaming, always be building, the wisest voice might be the one that whispers back, be still long enough to make sure you're building something that matters. Chapter 3. Seneca's Warning. Wasting time by hustling. Blind Seneca didn't have a smartphone. He didn't have a calendar filled with back-to-back Zoom calls. He wasn't drowning in emails, caught in Slack threads, or obsessing over algorithms. And still, he saw it coming. He warned us with sharp clarity. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Let that settle in. We complain about how fast life moves, how short the days feel, how quickly the years slip by. But Seneca says, no, it's not that life is short. It's that you've been handing it away in pieces, to people, projects, distractions, and fears that were never worth it. Now imagine what he'd say if he saw us now. How much time do we waste on things that don't truly move us? Not because we're lazy, but because we're busy doing the wrong things. It's easy to stay occupied. It's easy to look productive. You can fill every hour of your day and still make no real progress in your life. Think about it. You answer emails at midnight to prove you're committed. You refresh your notifications like they hold your self-worth. You bounce between goals that aren't even yours, just expectations you picked up without realizing it. That's not discipline. That's distraction with a to-do list. Seneca would call it out for what it is, a subtle form of self-betrayal, because every minute you give to something meaningless is a minute stolen from something sacred, and yet we do it every day. Why? Because we're terrified of what happens when we stop. Stillness is uncomfortable. Reflection is risky. When you're alone with yourself, the real questions come up. Am I happy with this life I've built? Am I chasing this dream because I want it? Or because I'm scared not to? Am I truly alive? Or just performing the motions of someone who looks like they are? Hustle culture never gives you time to ask those questions. That's the point. It keeps you busy and distracted and proud of it. But Stoicism, it hands you the mirror and says, look, not away, at your life, at your habits, at your time, at your truth. It dares you to be honest, because nothing is more expensive than a life spent chasing the wrong things. And once again, we return to this hard truth. Busyness isn't always progress, and productivity without purpose is just disguised regret. So take a breath right now. Ask yourself, where is my time actually going? Am I investing it or just burning it? If I zoomed out and looked at my life from above, would it look like a meaningful story or just a fast-paced blur? Seneca didn't say stop living. He said, live on purpose. You don't need more time. You need more awareness of how you're spending the time you already have. Because that, more than hustle, is what shapes the life you're living. Chapter 4. Are you building or just escaping? Let's get real. Not every goal is pure. Not every dream is rooted in clarity. And not every hustle is about passion. Sometimes, we're just running. From what exactly? Silence, stillness, ourselves. Because if we slow down, we might feel it. That tension, that ache, that question we keep pushing down beneath productivity. Is this really it? Here's something we don't talk about enough. A lot of what we call ambition is actually avoidance. It's easier to build a brand than to rebuild your sense of self. It's easier to launch a new product than to sit in the discomfort of an unhealed wound. It's easier to stay busy than to admit you feel lost. You post because silence scares you. You grind because the noise keeps you from hearing the doubts. You chase because stopping might force you to face the real question. Who am I without all this? And that's not an accusation. That's an invitation. Because Stoicism doesn't shame you for working hard. It simply asks, why? What's the motive beneath your motion? What's the truth beneath your task list? Are you building towards something sacred? Or are you just building a wall between you and what you don't want to feel? And here's the paradox. The more you avoid the truth, the more hollow your wins will feel. The applause won't hit the same. The milestones will come and go like empty checkboxes. The success will feel like noise, because you weren't running towards something, you were running from something. But here's what the Stoics knew. You can't outrun the self. Eventually it catches up. So the question is, would you rather collapse from burnout 5 years from now, or pause for 10 minutes today and get honest with yourself? Because that honesty, it's where real ambition begins. It's where meaningful work is born, not from fear, but from clarity. It's where you stop performing a life that looks good and start living one that feels real. So, take this seriously. What are you building right now? And what part of yourself are you trying to avoid by building it? If no one could see your success, would you still pursue it? When your ambition is built on escape, even victory feels like defeat. But when your ambition is built on purpose, every step becomes sacred. Chapter 5. The Discipline of Less. Let's start with this line from Marcus Aurelius. If you seek tranquility, do less. And then he adds something most people miss. But do what's necessary, and do it with intention. This is what I call the discipline of less. It's not minimalism, it's not apathy, and it's definitely not laziness. It's about doing fewer things, on purpose, so you can do the right things better. See, hustle culture thrives on quantity. More calls, more output, more income streams, more hustle, more reach, more growth. But Stoicism, it's rooted in quality. It asks, what's essential? What's actually worth your energy? What contributes to your peace, your purpose, your virtue? Everything else? Noise. And here's the truth most people avoid. More isn't always progress. Sometimes it's just panic with a to-do list. When you're doing too much, you stop being effective. You stop being present. You start burning time, energy, and even relationships, all to hold up the illusion of success. But Marcus reminds us, if peace is what you're after, less is the path. Because peace comes from alignment, not achievement. Think about this. Would you rather do 5 things halfway just to feel productive, or do one thing fully with your whole heart and know it mattered? Stoicism chooses the second every time. The discipline of less looks like saying no to things that aren't aligned, even if they look impressive. Letting go of urgency that isn't real. Slowing down so your work becomes a reflection of clarity, not chaos. Replacing how much can I handle with what is truly mine to carry. It's not flashy. It's not always celebrated, but it's powerful. Because doing less allows you to be more present, to go deeper, to hear yourself again, to reconnect with what actually matters. In the end, the Stoics weren't trying to fill every minute. They were trying to live every minute with depth, truth, and purpose. So ask yourself, what in your life right now feels heavy? Not because it's hard, but because it's hollow. What could you release? Not to quit, but to refine. And what would shift if you stopped measuring success in busyness and started measuring it in peace? Tranquility doesn't come from doing it all. It comes from doing less, better. Chapter 6. A Modern Stoic Perspective. Let's be clear. Stoicism is not against ambition. It's not about withdrawing from life or letting go of dreams. It's not about settling. Stoicism is about refining ambition, purifying it, turning it from a performance into a principle. A modern Stoic doesn't chase every shiny thing. They don't say yes to every opportunity. They don't rush to meet someone else's timeline. They pause. They think. They ask the question, will this make me better, or just make me look better? Because there's a difference. One grows your soul, the other feeds your ego. Stoicism isn't about shrinking your life. It's about elevating the quality of your decisions. It means building with intention. It means being okay with saying no. It means holding yourself to a higher standard, not for status, but for self-respect. The Stoic isn't interested in how many people clap for them. They care whether they can look in the mirror and say, I showed up with truth today. It's not about how much you can accumulate. It's about whether the way you earn aligns with who you're becoming. A modern Stoic might still build a business, still create, still scale, still succeed, but they don't need those things to feel whole. They build from wholeness, not to fill a void. Because their ambition isn't about applause. It's about contribution. It's about virtue. It's about meaning. That's a rare thing today. In a world where success is defined by followers, reach, and revenue, choosing meaning over metrics is radical. It's rebellion, but it's also the only path that leads to real peace. So ask yourself this. If you stripped away all the titles, all the numbers, all the praise, would your work still feel worthy? Would your path still feel aligned? Would you still want to keep walking it? Because that's how you know. That's when you've stepped into Stoic ambition, not frantic hustle, not ego-fueled proving, but grounded, powerful, purposeful striving. not to be seen, but to become. Chapter 7. Final reflection. Is your hustle helping or hiding? Let's slow down, just for a moment. You've been working, chasing, creating, grinding. But now, here's the question that matters most. Is your hustle helping you grow or hiding what you're afraid to face? That's the question that cracks things open. Because hustle isn't evil. It's not the enemy. It becomes the enemy when it becomes your identity, when it becomes your shield, when it becomes the reason you stop asking the hard questions. Because here's what hustle can't do. It can't fix the wounds you haven't acknowledged. It can't define your worth. It can't quiet your insecurities. And it definitely can't make up for a life built on someone else's definition of success. But you know what can? Stillness. Not stillness as in doing nothing. Stillness as in presence, as in awareness, as in finally getting honest about what matters to you. So take this moment, step away from the noise, close the tabs, silence the notifications, and breathe. Now ask yourself, what am I chasing and why? Am I grinding because I love what I do or because I'm scared to stop? Is my calendar a reflection of my values or my insecurity? What am I afraid will surface if I slow down? Those aren't easy questions, but they're necessary because the Stoic doesn't fear stillness. They use it, they sit in it, they let it sharpen them. They let it reveal what hustle can't hide forever. You see, we talk a lot about hard work, but rarely do we talk about deep work, the kind that has nothing to do with output and everything to do with alignment. So if you take one thing from this video, let it be this. You don't have to stop striving. You just have to stop sprinting in the wrong direction. Let your goals come from clarity, not panic. Let your pace come from wisdom, not comparison. Let your work come from love, not fear. Because once your ambition is aligned with truth, you become unstoppable, not because you're moving the fastest, but because you're finally moving in the right direction. So breathe, think, strip away the noise, and let yourself return to the one place hustle will never take you. Peace. Stay sharp, stay grounded, stay stoic.